Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and talk about how to get your brilliant policy ideas off the shelf and actually into the public eye. Because, if you spend your days researching, analyzing, and drafting policy, you definitely know the absolute frustration of seeing a meticulously crafted document just sit there, gathering digital dust. It's the worst. But today, we're changing that. We're going to walk through the exact, practical strategies you need to turn your research into real-world influence.
Our blueprint for today is drawn straight from Part 5 of David Krissinger's incredibly insightful book, Public Policy Writing That Matters. We're zeroing in on this specific section because it makes a crucial shift. It moves the focus from the actual act of writing the policy to the act of selling it. We're going to break down the core logic behind different media formats and give you the practical, step-by-step implementation you need to make your work truly resonate.
So here is our game plan for this tactical workshop. First, moving beyond the policy memo. Second, pitching your op-ed. Third, pitching long-form journalism. Fourth, leveraging digital platforms. Fifth, crafting a multimedia strategy. And finally, number 6, making your words matter.
All right, let's jump into Section 1, Beyond the Policy Memo, Bridging the Gap.
Here is the brutal truth. Mastering the pitch is what actually elevates your voice in these crucial policy debates. The memo, well, that's your foundation, but the pitch is your bridge to the public. So the central logical argument here is that writing a great memo is really only half the battle. You absolutely must know how to advocate for your work. Editors are literally inundated with submissions every single day. You could have the most groundbreaking policy solution in the entire world, but if you can't make your case quickly and convincingly in a pitch, your piece is never getting a second look. Visibility requires a targeted, highly strategic approach.
Moving right along to Section 2, Pitching Your Op-Ed, the Argument-Driven Pitch.
Let's dive into the practical mechanics of traditional media. You really have to understand your vehicle here because editors are looking for completely different things depending on the format. Think about it. An op-ed is not a mini dissertation. It's concise, it's driven by one strong central argument, and it is highly timely, often reacting to news that is happening right this second. Long-form journalism, on the other hand, that allows for nuance. That's where you explore the depths of an issue and uncover stories that are totally underreported. You have to align your policy message with the correct format before you even type the first word of your pitch.
So, let's look at the practical steps to actually landing that op-ed. And keep in mind, editors need clarity right away. Step 1. Identify the right outlets. Do your homework on their audience demographics and their editorial focus. Step 2. Hone your message. Seriously, can you summarize your entire argument in one concise sentence? And why does it matter today? Step 3. Structure your pitch. You want to give them an intriguing subject line, a quick summary, and a super clear conclusion on why it's a perfect fit for their specific readership. And Step 4. Establish your credibility. Tell them exactly why you are the definitive authority to write this piece. Just keep your bio short and highly relevant to the topic.
All right, Section 3, Pitching long-form journalism, deep investigations.
Now, if your policy issue requires a bit more nuance, maybe you've got this mountain of extensive data, or you've uncovered a systemic flaw that really demands deep exploration, you're going to need a totally different approach. For instance, did you know that less than 10% of low-income families actually benefit from current housing policies, leaving thousands in rural areas completely underserved? Think about that for a second. Dropping a surprising statistic like that is an irresistible hook for an editor. When you pitch long-form, you aren't just giving an opinion. You are promising a compelling narrative story. You need a hook that forces the editor to stop skimming their inbox and actually start reading.
By following these exact steps, you can take a complex topic, like those unseen barriers in rural housing we just mentioned, and logically prove to an editor that your piece adds serious value to the public discourse. First, find a topic that's both timely and underreported. Second, hit them with that strong hook right out of the gate. Use a striking stat, a provocative question, or a really vivid, brief anecdote. Third, clearly state your unique angle. What makes your perspective different from everything else out there? Fourth, outline the structure so the editor can actually visualize the narrative flow of the piece. And finally, highlight the impact. Explicitly explain how this piece is going to influence ongoing policy debates or spark brand new initiatives.
Which brings us to Section 4, Leveraging Digital Platforms, Amplifying Your Voice.
These days, traditional tools have to operate right alongside fast-moving interactive channels. You can't just hit publish on an article and cross your fingers, hoping people stumble across it. You have to actively take it to where the audience already hangs out.
But here's the catch. You literally cannot just copy-paste your exact same message across the entire internet. You have to tailor your content. X is your hotspot for breaking news and sharp, concise insights. Facebook is geared more toward longer posts, generating real community interaction and sharing links. LinkedIn, that requires a slightly more formal tone. It's perfect for professional insights and industry analysis. And Instagram is all about visual storytelling. Think infographics, short reels, and behind-the-scenes looks at your policy work in action.
Let's put this into perspective. Imagine your core issue is affordable housing. On X, you might post a really striking, punchy statistic. Did you know affordable housing reduces homelessness by 20%? It's time to invest. #housing for all. Boom, done. But on LinkedIn, you'd write a detailed, thoughtful post geared toward other professionals. You might share a thorough analysis of exactly how these investments create resilient communities and robust local economies over time. The fundamental goal remains exactly the same. You're advocating for housing, but the practical delivery completely transforms to fit the medium.
Okay, Section 5. Crafting a multimedia strategy. Beyond written narratives.
We're living in a highly visual and auditory world, right? And your policy advocacy absolutely needs to reflect that. Adding audio and video can simplify incredibly complex issues and make them deeply relatable to the average person. From short videos featuring actual resident testimonials to deep dive educational podcasts, these elements create a much more immersive experience. Explainer videos can take dense, jargon-heavy policy and magically turn it into simple, digestible animations. Documentaries and case studies can show the viewer a successful policy intervention actually working in the real world. Meanwhile, podcasts offer amazing flexibility. Your audience can consume your policy discussions while they commute. You can use interview formats to bring in diverse expert perspectives, or storytelling formats to highlight the very real, very human impact of the policies you're fighting to change.
But to create a truly cohesive strategy, you have to intentionally integrate these tools and actively track your implementation. Don't just make a video just to say you made one. Step 1. Use multimedia to directly complement and reinforce your written reports. Step 2. Make absolutely sure your core message is consistent, whether someone is reading a blog post, listening to a podcast, or watching a video. Step 3. Use this dynamic mix of visual, auditory, and written content to engage a much broader, more diverse audience. And Step 4. This is absolutely crucial. Measure your impact. Track your engagement, your reach, your website traffic, and your conversions. If your ultimate goal is to get people to sign a petition or call a lawmaker, you have to use the data to see which platform is actually driving that real-world action.
And that brings us to our final section, Section 6, Making Your Words Matter, the conclusion. As we wrap up this explainer, let's just take a second to reflect on the ultimate goal of all this communication strategy. It isn't just about getting published or getting likes, it's about making a tangible difference. Your voice really matters, and by refining your craft and your delivery, you can drive the actual change you seek. Whether you're crafting a highly precise op-ed pitch, outlining a massive long-form investigation, or adapting a complex policy finding into a snappy social media thread, the core principles remain exactly the same. You're striving for clear, thoughtful communication that truly resonates with stakeholders. You are the bridge between complex analysis and public understanding.
So take a moment right now and think about your own work. What is that one, single, central argument you desperately want to share? How are you going to use this playbook to break through all the noise and finally make your ideas heard? Start experimenting with these pitch structures, try adapting your message for a brand new digital platform, and just stay curious. The tools of advocacy are always shifting, but a well-crafted, logically sound message will always have the power to shape the world. So the question is, what story are you going to tell?